Well, hello, creatives, community, and kind folks. Welcome to RPG with DBJ. Here in this Future Friday, we're going to deep dive. We're going to do our travel log as we deep dive into the various planets. It's only going to be maybe 25% of today's episode. And today we're going to visit Uranus and my anus. Yes, we're going to do all the scatological humor and things like that. We're going to get it out of our system, built into the culture of the fluff of this tabletop role playing game. Uh, the people there even joke about its name as well, although it's basically the name of a titan. And I do want to point something out here. Deadman, a very brilliant individual here, who is one of our co-hosts. I do not have the incorrect image. Let me share something out here for you because I thought the same thing. Oops, wrong imagery here. Both Uranus and Neptune have very, very similar, like structural imagery here. So these are images of Uranus. Let's see if I can find out Neptune. I know it's on its side, but let's get some images here. It's from NASA. All right. So I'm going to go back and forth here. So these are images of Uranus. I'm going to show you Neptune. Extremely similar in that blue. What would you call it? Let's see. The first 1, 2, 3 images here of Neptune are from NASA Science, and here we go. And here we have Uranus, where we're going to focus on NASA Science, NASA, kind of ringed on its side. I don't know how you explain. Not necessarily on its side. I mean, I don't know. We human beings tend to think of things from our point of view, where Uranus is kind of tilted on its so far on its axis that instead of spinning like a top in our solar system, it's actually tilted to the side. But yeah, I don't want to say surprised. I was like, oh, I thought it was like brown. Really? That's odd. Excuse me. Anyway, hello everyone. Thanks for returning here. Taste of Banat. Thank you very much. Yeah, proper pronunciation. There is no such thing as a proper pronunciation. It is by consensus, and I don't know how the ancient, I don't know, was it Greeks or Romans pronounced it. It is by consensus. So Uranus, I know, is often because it has. If everyone keeps saying Uranus, it our brains always go back to that scatological uh, thing. So to keep us from having to keep doing the little immature giggling in the corner, yeah, I think it's better for us to call it Uranus. So in very quickly, because we're going to go past this, I want to show you some AI art to give you an imagery next to the mechanics of the game and all that kind of stuff. All right, so Uranus, we're on the 7th planet away from our sun. We've gotten away from probably dozens and dozens of. I said the old way. Now, here, not the proper way. Just say it. I know that pronunciation is descriptive, not prescriptive. Exactly. Yeah. If you say Uranus the old way, it doesn't sound like Uranus. Yeah, and I'm sure. I'm sure it's we. Here we go with the semantics again. None of you are right because all of you are right. That's just the way language goes. Who's this? The shitlords? It's so silly. Anyway, thank you for joining us. All right, so we've gotten very far away from the orbit of Terra and Luna, the appropriate names for Earth and the Moon. We've gone very far out in our solar system, and this is where we start to where culture and society is getting more related to leaving our solar system than having relationships to the inners. And so, therefore, uh, Uranus is a location, especially its moons and its orbit, where the what's a delicate way of putting it? The crazies live. There is no delicate way to put it. Uh, People who just don't fit into society and yet are brilliant and constructive and want to see a world in which cannot be imagined anywhere else come out here. It is a place filled with uh, people who want to meditate on life and become very introspective, individuals who want to develop religion and art and the esotericness of science and poetry and all those kind of things, fashion. If you're rich, if you have very many resources, if you are someone who by power of personality alone brings with you a cult like following. If you are surrounded by sycophants and you want to get away from it all but surround yourself in the soft glow of people who want to worship you, this is the place you want to come. It is a place not of militancy and war, but a place of both deep diving into self actualization and uh, external expression by nefarious means or pleasant means, in shedding yet the very last vestiges of what we consider to be modern society and coming up with new ways of governing ourselves and socially interacting and all of the it is a place writ large of all of the fringe elements we would consider to be here on Earth. Yet they're living in habitats and dome cities and um, zero gravity hives and that kind of thing around Uranus, and then creating a whole society filled with just a small little sliver of what we consider barely functioning society here on Earth. And so, yeah. Mm-mm-mm. Taste of Banat said, "Is there anything you can mine on Uranus? Is it more of an ice ball or a gas planet?" Uh, it it is. I'm going to get into it because I know Dead Man's already gotten us there too. Which I'm going to put up his comment here. Right there we go. Uh, bu- 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 and One Eye Heathen says, "Hey, a couple days ago, Uranus was visible. Not a butt joke. It really was. No, oh no, no, I agree with you. And there's plenty of butt jokes to go around. Um, yes, absolutely, yes. Dead man answered it already. He says, in theory, you could siphon off the gases of Uranus and gas mining off of these ice giants is a thing. Let's see. Here's um, I'm on science.nasa.gov. I don't have to put this out here for you guys to see it, but the seventh planet from the sun with the third largest diameter in our solar system, Uranus, is very cold and windy. The ice giant is surrounded by 13 faint rings and 27 small moons as it rotates at a nearly 90-degree angle from the planet of its orbit. This unique tilt makes Uranus appear to spin sideways, orbiting the sun like a rolling ball. That's a very good descriptor. It's like a rolling ball rather than a spinning top from many of the other planets. Excuse me. Wow. And yeah, Dead Man. Shoot. I forgot to put his comment back up here. I apologize. There we go. And it's called 27 Known Moons, named after, while most of the satellites orbiting other planets take their names from Greek or Roman mythology, Uranus's moons are unique in being named for characters from the works of William Shakespeare and Alexander Pope. Um, I am, yes, I am pulling from the fact that the moons are named after characters from Shakespeare and Alexander Pope rather than Greek names, in the sense that the very poetry, the literary and playwright nature of the names of the moons is describing for me the essence of how Uranus is socially populated. So it is very artistic, very expressive in both the best and worst ways we can think of. There are many people who have come out here and made habitats and live in habs simply for the purpose of then returning, like musicians and artists and actors and 3D stars and things like that, who want to return back into the inner system to become fashion icons or another way of becoming a political, get into political punditry and things like that. And then there's many others who are like, no, I'm going to leave. I'm leaving the system. We're going out into the Oort cloud and beyond, and forget all that. Um, yeah, Uranus is one of two ice giants in the outer solar system. The other is Neptune, of course. Most, or 80% or more, of the planet's mass is made up of hot, dense fluid of icy materials, as Dead Man is placed, such as water, methane, and ammonia, above a small rocky core. Near the core, it heats up to 9,000 degrees Fahrenheit, or almost just shy of 5,000 degrees Celsius. And gas mining is an idea that it is possible by basically sucking up the gases and then separating those gases into its component parts, and then using those gases either as gases and separating the gases into like its different components, like ammonia and ethane and methane and uh, sulfuric acids and things of that nature, or mining the gases and then transforming them, compressing them into liquids, and maybe even with enough technology into various solids and things of that nature. So, yep, yep, yep. And of course, the quick facts, like Dead Man says, it's got a 17-hour day. It circles around the sun in 84 years. It's got a radius of about 15.7 thousand miles or 25,000 kilometers, and it's known as an ice giant. And I always consider, I, I'm kind of with you guys. Like, I always thought that they were called gas giants, but scientifically they're called ice giants, despite the fact that they're so massive on the inside that they are uh, heated up very much so. Yeah, and Dead Man does make a point about, yeah, you can siphon off Uranus. Uh, when I hear this is, but bring on the butt jokes anyway. I could totally see your anus. You're literally making an entire show about your anus. My anus? YouTube. Yeah, when I hear this is, gas mining is a really cool idea. One um, Isaac Arthur, you guys know Isaac Arthur is one of my unsung, well, not unsung. Anyway, one of my heroes, and talks about a gas mining using rotovators. So imagine a chainsaw. So you know how a chainsaw blade is this long, elongated blade. So imagine that with buckets attached to it, and those and the rotovator would be just outside the planet's atmosphere. And so the rotovator would dip down as the chain moves, it would dip down into the atmosphere, scooping up gases to bring them out of the atmosphere to be used and mined and such like that. And I think that's kind of a mega structure of sorts that would be kind of cool to imagine. Like, and I know they wouldn't literally be buckets, but it's the only descriptor I have, and I like that. Cat wants to get in my lap. Should I let him? Oh yeah, place the cap. Pet such cap on your lap. Anyway, getting away from the childishness of it. Being a also being a an ice giant, um, both the moon Titan and these ice giant planets make for strangely great places to use and create processing power. So, in the canon of my world, one of the places that is a home world of sorts, if you want to call it a home world, is a processing structure that houses many of the most massive AIs or AGIs in the solar system. And they do that by allowing them to bleed off heat from the processing down in Uranus, this ice giant. I was going to pick Neptune, but I think it's a little too far away. Hey, listen. It wouldn't be a cat if they weren't like that way, right? A heathen wouldn't be a cat. I also it also comes across that because of the massive tilt of Uranus, it's very difficult to effectively get into a geosynchronous orbit around the planet, which I like for storytelling reasons, as in uh, um, only people who are off balance, at odds, don't fit in. They individuals who uh, are always considered to be an outsider, um, individuals who are on the spectrum, individuals who have socially just never fit in multiple regions. This is the place where you go. In many ways, especially in for us grognards in the olden days, for all of us that were role playing fanatics back during the Satanic Panic and role playing in our parents' basements and stuff, and had black market role playing books. This is kind of our place. This is the yeah, hey, uh, you been cast out or exiled and you don't fit in anywhere, at least socially, not necessarily criminally, but like socially. Come on in. Come on in here, and all those strange behaviors, we could care less. You're absolutely positively accepted here, and individuals who are like again socially awkward, maybe a lot of a lot of computer systems, much like we did a series on chat gpt and ai systems, where they always fall towards the mean, the middle, and the individuals that fall on the outsides of the extremes in numbers tend to not fit into a rational system. This is where you want to go. I'm trying to develop a way to describe people that are hard to describe. Making up like random charts and things, it's a little difficult to do that, because I'm both trying to pick out uh, strangeness and oddities without making it a joke of sorts. So yeah. Anyway, um, mm, mm, mm. Is there a Uranus panic too? We don't want to let the Satan worship have all the fun, do we? Yeah, well, there might be. There might be. Everybody run away from the sphincter. Yeah, this is my jam. Bring on Nerd Planet. Hell yeah. Also, I want to basically embrace the idea of the humorous part of it. People who are consider themselves to be part of the social structure, uh, the I'm going to mispronounce the anarchy that is this location of artists, like an artist commune. Um, Everyone here is kind of on each other's side. It's like, hey, listen, we're all outsiders, and we are our own group. And the idea that uh, despite being outsiders, we as humanity, we often tend to, as a side of as a secondary thought, realize that art and culture and history and personality, the extremes of our culture, are actually very much needed at home, despite the fact that many times we don't know how to talk with or embrace. An example, a real life example, is one of my coworkers. You can very much tell is socially on the spectrum, and me and him, we get along excellently, but other people don't understand it, and so they try to fit him into this thing, and I'm just like, and the funny thing is they always call on me to speak. His last name is Stone, and they're like, hey, Jackson, could you talk to Stone? And I'm just like, fine. And me and Stone, we communicate. He loves playing a Magic the Gathering, and we have this like Magic the Gathering lingo that we talk and stuff, like a kind of a code or whatever. And he's not used to the intricacies of social niceness, like saying pleases and thank yous and stuff like that. He likes to get to the point, and when he's done talking to you, he just walks away. And I'm like, whatever, cool. And I can see the nuance, and other people can't see it, and that this is a place for those individuals. Also, I wanted to make listen. We got a lot of people in the role playing community. myself included, that some of us, well, let's be honest, we're a little bit socially on the fringes many times, and we need a place. We need a place where we're comfortable too, and I think this would be the kind of place, or it is going to be that kind of place. Now, as far as the humor of it, the idea that people kind of make fun of the name and the jokes and stuff, the people here, they don't think anything of it. There's just like, yeah, this is where we're from. This is a good excuse to have a little bit of humor into the system. But so anyway, I just want to share that out to you guys, and kind of reiterate that, yeah, being interested in stuff equals socially on the fringes too. What, scientific theory and thinking rationally about things? It's pretty ridiculous. And yeah, dead man. Just to reiterate, I was with you when I started searching for images of Uranus, which I, for some reason, in science books, I always remembered being kind of like brownish in color. But no, it's these are the true image. Not, well, when I say true images, these are the images that have been compiled from uh, from images taken of Uranus, and I believe over time they. This is just my particular opinion. There's a butt joke. There it is. Uranus smells like farts because of the sulfur and stuff like that. So yes, in actuality, Uranus probably very much smells like farts, just like Venus does. It smells pretty bad. I wouldn't want to have my naked face in the planetary surface. That'd be a pretty dangerous fart right there. But it would probably be one of the most lethal, silent but deadly smells you would ever smell in the solar system. Oh man. But yeah, yeah, blues, lots of blues. Strange. It's got a strange magnetosphere that doesn't surround the planet. It's kind of like off center because of the way it spins, which I think is kind of strange. So yeah, yeah. New York Post. Uranus really does smell like farts. Yeah, your anus really does smell like farts. Well, what other place do you want me to place my farts except outside of my anus? It's really weird. There's a blue. There's a brown. I was trying to look for a uh, brown Uranus image, and most of them been wiped away because these are the true images here. So sorry about the brain. So um, Taste of Banat says, so if you're talking about Uranus as a habitable planet, then you mean living on one of the moons, right? Now, uh, I'm I did not come up with this, but it does bring the point of describing, because you make a point. First of all, what does colonization even mean? And how would we colonize all the if humanity was able to colonize our galaxy, how would we do it? So as a habitable planet, no, we wouldn't be living on its surface at all. Uh, if our technology gets to the proper level, we would probably live on its moons, or better yet, create artificial habitats that would orbit that planet. Because other than living on the moons and or even uh, tugging in asteroids or comets that we can use to cut up some of the comets for its ice and water, creating an artificial habitat is probably better, because we have from its initial design, we can create a habitat to exist exactly for our needs. So, do we want a scientific space station? Yes, we build that. Do we want a place that's hollow on the inside that spins for gravity with parks and a infinite river that goes around the inner edge of a hollowed out asteroid or Bernal sphere or um, McKendree cylinder or O'Neill cylinder or spindle or torus or something like that? We'd probably make those. And depending on our technology, we could either have them very far away from Uranus and be in one of the Lagrange points, or we could make an aerostat, a floating uh, habitat within the atmosphere, the frozen atmosphere of the gas giant, and then we would make it float based on the gases that are inside the aerostat, like oxygen and nitrogen and things like that, and then maybe even have balloons or tanks or something like that filled with other gases to equalize how far deep or away from the gas giant. Now, personally, I don't know how how what kind of habitat could be a cloud city like in Star Wars to be in the orbit of, I mean, be within the gases of Uranus or Neptune or hell, even Venus. I don't know. It'd be pretty difficult, but with today's physics, we could do it as long as we use things like when I hear this, a time for cat zoomies. Yeah. Um, but I always think like when cats go into cat zoomies, they see ghosts. That's just me. But the uh what is it? Graphene and carbon nanotubes and being able to print out diamond sheets and things like that. Once we get very tough and lightweight materials, and many of them are already being created now, it'd be kind of cool. The shitlord says, just check out the Uranus 7-inch single by Shellac after the show's done. Two thought-provoking noise rock songs. Oh, is that a real I didn't know you were referring to a real thing. Oh, okay, cool. Thank you there, shitlord. And thank you for letting us visit your hometown, your home planet, I guess. Drew, Drew says, "I want a yellow submarine on Uranus." You wait, you want a yellow submarine in your anus? What? My anus? Yes. Actually, it would be kind of. It would make sense, right? If you have a dense enough atmosphere, you could probably. I guess it would be less aerial and more submersibles. I have to think about that. Oh, heathen going to bed. Anyway, you have a great one as well. All right, so allow me to show you some artwork, and I'm going to combine it with. So I want to give you guys a visual, and then yeah, let me dump in a couple of visuals here, and share them out to you, and then talk about. Let's get rid of the sharing here, and then pop up another screen. Nope, I want a window, and I want this window. And then by virtue of me sharing it out there, I can talk to you guys about some of the mechanics. Now I'm going to let you know this is all AI art, and using AI art and prompts from what I've. So I took the prompts, from the design of the game, and use those prompts into I use Canva. So I've got a Canva account. Anyway, they use an AI art generator, blah blah blah. I'm not pretending like I've created this. If I ever use AI art, I will never and I'm probably not going to sell this. I'm just going to create it. It's going to be my darling, and I'm just going to give it away. But I wanted to get some imagery to attach because I'm a very visual person. So if I look at a bunch of images that I'm like, oh, it inspires me, then it gets me to write even better. That's just how my mind works. So I wanted to share out some imagery here, and come on, there we go, and get a chance to take a look at this. Starships basically are like the Epstein drives in the Expanse. They basically are ice fire engines. They burn, take water, and yes, there are ways to use like helium-3 and methane and ethane and ammonia, but essentially the default is using water, using electrolysis to separate the hydrogen from the oxygen, and then they burn it. And instead of just a simple chemical rocket fuel, that burn is then funneled through an extremely high pressure electromagnetic bottle effect, so it becomes more of an atomic explosion rather than just a chemical explosion. But that's just pseudoscience. These are giant rocket ships. They are stacked like towers, and when those towers are launched and they rocket out into space, the gravity is from the 1G acceleration. They can accelerate less, and you'll have light gravity. They could not have any acceleration and they go into zero gravity. And then, of course, halfway there or wherever, they can flip and burn and then burn fuel to slow themselves down. If there's, and of course, there's slingshotting using planets as gravity wells to slow them down or to accelerate out into other regions, and using the atmospheres of planets with atmospheres to skim off of them, which takes a little bit of time, but within weeks they can do an elliptical orbit by skimming across the atmosphere to slow down. So these are some imagery. You can there's there are these artifacts in AI art that just it always does this kind of thing here. Come on, move. Why isn't it moving? Oh, it's going the other way. Here we go. Here we have some more tall starships. I like these a little bit better. The top ranked, the ones across the top, I love. The ones down the bottom are like AI art artifacts slammed together a little bit. Uh, Definitely, once you start using the term concept art, you can see where the sketching comes in at. But I like those images. Here's a little scary one. I'll get back to what you guys have to say. Here's a little scary one. These are the rat cat bats, the little pets that people have on the spaceships. Rats because they are small and very intelligent, and cats because they are a combination of predators and they are also social creatures and are able to take care of themselves very much, just like rats. And bats because they have an integrated um, gyroscopic nature about their brains and sonar that allows them in my um, fictional headcanon to allow them to be adapted to zero gravity and light gravity realms. So breeding them together kind of makes those. Yeah, shit. Lord says, did someone say Epstein and dry? All right, all right. Listen, even the writers of the guys that made the Expanse even were just like, that's an unfortunate name, because the last name existed long before the pedo dude. So relax. But I hear you, shitlord, or a bunch of shitlords. Hey, there's more than one shitlord. Wow. Oh, what are you, like a cadre of shitters? I'm into it. Drew says I use Leonardo for AI art. I put it usually on Pinterest since I also, damn it, moved. Since I also do not want to make commercial use of AI art. Right. Like for we can argue about the ethics of AI art, but I think, or AI systems, period. But I think as our personal use, not for financial gain, not to deceive anyone, but for our own personal uses, I don't have a problem with it because for me, I don't feel that AI systems now are very creative. Um, I use them as creative sparks for me. I don't think they are creative unto themselves. They're basically it again. It takes a lot of things and then circles them down to the mean, which is kind of weird. Would TA says, would dense atmosphere be the atmosphere of a comedy club shown in Uranus, Missouri? It could be. It could be. Graphene would be essential to a floating city, being that it would let dangerous or heavy vapor of water and hydrogen through it while it constricts on contact with helium, keeping it 100% of the time. I do not know about the physical structure. Thank you, TA. The physical structure of things like graphene and other, I want to call super science materials, even though they really do exist today. But like what is it? Clear aluminum, graphene. What's the TA? Thank you. Help me find the name of the clear material that is does not allow thermal passage. You can literally blast it with a blowtorch and then immediately pick it up, and it's absolutely cool. What is that material called? And I mean, it's made today. Oh, my brain can't think of it. TA says even steel walls of a container let helium slowly leak through it between the iron atoms, but that lining of graphene would stop it. Oh, I didn't know it was that. Oh, it's that the material is that tightly, molecularly that tight. I didn't know that. Aerogel, thank you, made of silica. Thank you so. Aerogel. That's it. Aerogel is a material made today that has almost zero thermal conduction to it, uh, which would be perfect for space travel and reentry and things like that, because the material could get very hot or cold on one end of it, and you could literally put your bare hand against it on the other side. It doesn't transfer thermal energy. Now, that's not good for everything, because sometimes, especially like space habitats, according to scientists, would the more of a population you have, the greater heat, and you need to let that heat get out. And so, yeah. Shitlord says, yeah, so it's a real thing. Epstein drive, I just don't know about it. So does a theoretical principle or machine actually exist today? No, 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 no. The Epstein drive is a fictional engine that allows space travel in the world of the expanse. And it is called the Epstein drive because an individual by the last name of Epstein created it. And it is the fictional drive engines that are both efficient and allow 1G accelerate. Well, it allows the efficient use of 1G acceleration so that you can have a television show and a book series where people walk around in 1G. But it's fictional. At least they create it as it's fictional. It's the one ask, right? When we talk about science fiction and fantasy, especially science fiction, sometimes we have an ask. It's the ask is, please don't ask anything deeper because we understand this doesn't exist. And so that ask is going, we as science fiction fans, as speculative fiction fans go, no problem, fine. We'll accept that ask. But if you're going to be a hard science fiction thing, don't give us an ask too many times, because after a while we just start rolling our eyes. But yeah, Epstein drives in the Expanse, they specifically said, yeah, they don't exist and they don't know how it exists. It just does exist. It's a fusion drive that works like starting a car engine. And that's it. TA says, no, actually, the graphene relaxes on contact with hydrogen and water, but constricts like a sponge drying out on contact with helium. Oh, oh, I'm saving that shit. Okay. He goes on to say, there's a concept I've been working on that uses the flow of liquids in a rocket fuel to generate electrostatic charges and redirects those to the nozzle of a drive so the expelling gas is, and he hasn't finished it. Maybe we're both on the same page, because that's what my ice fire engines are for. It's separate the hydrogen and oxygen, burn burn them both, and then using that explosive energy by focusing it down a electromagnetic nozzle. So yeah, a bit of suspension of disbelief. Yep, it's called an ask. Ask now. That's just me. That's me shortening. Yes, the suspension of disbelief. Right. It's we know we don't believe it, but we're asking the consumer. So I'm using the word ask as we're asking you, please don't look any deeper into this because I know it doesn't exist and you know it doesn't exist, but let's just accept it, right? So that's what I mean by an ask. Drew says, I need to put a mad scientist named DB Jackson to my setting who made weird rat bat cats. Yeah, sorry for leaving that up there because it is a little bit strange. But yeah, I think they're a little cute. I kind of like the cuteness. All right, so here are some vehicles. Of course, I wanted to get an idea of like walker crawler vehicles across different moons and especially Mars. So we have some AI imagery art here. I think I use like crab or insect, so you can kind of see it. It has a little bit of that insectoid type of imagery here. Here's some cleaner ones, but yeah, some vehicles. And here's some imagery. I wanted to get some imagery of like space travelers, astronauts, that kind of thing. Very concept art looking. When AI art is driving me insane because I was trying to get heavy set people for high gravity, and I also want to have different body types. And uh, uh, some of it is cool, some of it can turn a little cheesecake. So I try not to get the more cheesecake effects. of individuals, but I do want different body types and different people. And it is actually known that when humans go into space, our bodies will start to, because gravity gives us our shape. If we go into zero gravity, we will start to become, we will bloat. And so I was thinking there would be some places where you get different body types. And listen, let's be honest, like the you know uh, sexiness is not reserved for one type of person or individual. So I thought I'd try to add. I'd like to add some kind of art like this, and these are just preliminary examples of things like that. What I was thinking of. There are a number of aquatic moons, and Earth is known as Terra. And Terra, despite the word Terra being Earth-like, is technically an aquatic planet now. So I wanted to find some aquatic explorative natures. What is it? Europa is an aquatic planet. Enceladus, not planet, a moon. Europa is an aquatic moon. Enceladus, Enceladus. I pronounce it Enceladus, but anyway, it doesn't matter what your pronunciation is. Don't worry about the semantics of it. Just know that it's an aquatic moon, and so lots of places, actually plenty of places to live in our solar system, to live underwater, and I think it would be pretty cool. Don't know how much light would be down in some of these places, but you got to be able to see the artwork, right? Um, some examples, and this is a weird thing. My prompts, and I never asked for this, there's a lot of like orangey brown colors. I don't know if that's a default that a lot of concept artists use oranges and browns to mute out the colors, but I'm getting a lot of that spiking up. But anyway, um, again, some crawling vehicles, a little too insectoid if you ask me, but after going through like a couple dozens of these things, I tried to pick out the best ones, and that's as far as you get. Um, Although copying off of nature is a pretty common thing as well. A lot of scientists are like, try to figure ways around nature, but copying nature is a pretty common thing. Of course, you have to have some like aero cars, flying cars. In my concept, probably used either like electromagnetically or with fans and things like that. Of course, some space habitats, different planets, some different shapes. I was trying to come up with different shapes other than domes, and tried to do things like balloons, stuff like that. We've got some people. You definitely have to have cyberpunkish kind of people. Look at all these browns. What's up with the browns? No. Tried to get a family. I wanted to try to find an explorative family, and their kids and stuff. Um, Martians. Let's get back into what you guys have to say before we get out of here. Shice is going, yeah, me in 5 to 10 years, all decked out in a spacesuit. Nice. That's all right. Yeah, TAs. Yeah, Shy Squad says, hell, the Epstein drive sounds fine for some future technology that doesn't exist. It's not that much of an ask. I agree with you. I agree with you. Yeah, you know what I mean? I mean, especially for The Expanse is an excellent television series. I think it's you can watch all episodes here in the States on Amazon Prime. And what is it, 6 seasons, 5, 6 seasons? It's excellent. Uh, Thomas Anderson says the electrostatic charges built up on Sophie. So silly. Flow and charges liquids molecules so they are repelled from each other and attracted to the oxygen. So an instantaneous mix happens right before explosion to generate its expansion and thrust out of the now electrostatically charged sections of the nozzle, attracting it towards the outside while also squeezing it toward the exit. I love that. I love that. I'm gonna look that up. I'm keeping that. Sorry, Anderson. Yeah, yeah. Ta says all these worlds to explore and exploit. I give to you, but leave Europa alone. The monolith from 2010. Yes, that was the message. That was one of the first messages and only messages from the monolith from 2001. A Space Odyssey, the books and the movies. I believe it was. Yeah, it was like I give you everything, but leave Europa alone. Deadman says series. and I'm sure I'm butchering the pronunciation of that, is an asteroid covered with 300-kilometer thick ice on its surface with a few dozen kilometers of water beneath the ice. Yeah, and um, expanding upon what Deadman is saying, a series and a number of icy asteroids in our asteroid belt are like asteroid families. Like there's basically a large grouping of very large asteroids that are like orbiting together in our solar system, and that's yet another place with a deeper ocean, right? It's kind of crazy that there's actually an exceptional amount of water on water ice out in the solar system than we think. T says, yep, that stackable piece that can be stuck together to make habitats was designed using how bubble solution makes walls form with it. That's kind of cool. Is it what? Yeah, what is the name of that three-headed dog? I'm gonna look that up, man. 2001: Space Odyssey. Check Rob Eger's analysis, where an expert in subliminal messages goes into excruciating detail about all the symbolism. Ooh, that's kind of cool. Okay, so here, let very quickly page through this. Martians, imagery of Martians. I wanted to the prompts I used. I wanted to combine both like tattoos and yet scarring from the winds on Mars. So it's kind of a combination of both of those, and I wanted to kind of incorporate that. Here's some more imagery of Martians. Um, Here again, you can kind of see around the face. It looks like the skin is pulled tight and such. Um, there we go. Air breathers. Sometimes, if you wear an air breather too much or goggles and things, how it leaves a line on your face. I kind of wanted to embrace that concept as well. Um, Here are sentient AI. So they're not just robots, but they are sentient AGIs, the AG. These are individuals with a sentience. These are probably, this is player character kind of thing, and enemies. Much different than air quotes robots. So some of them do wear clothing and have expressionable faces. So to fit into society, and because of their sentience, what I thought is that they would have faces that allow micro expressions that non-sentient robots do not have. So they have faces with expressions that do not give us an uncanny valley, making them express their sentience. So I thought that would be a thing. Like they are very self-conscious of having humanoid faces that have ticks and turns and twists and strange smiles and grimaces, and they can grin and frown and purse their lips and things like that. Ruffle their forehead when thinking, and things like that. And that micro expression is a mechanical feature that makes them seem more human on purpose. Just dirty places, gas giants, surface of the Earth. Um, just some more concept art. I forget what the prompts were. Um, Rich people, the decadente. I think it's an Italian word for decadence. Individuals, just a rich, famous, living long, uh, constellation relationships, in and out, fashionable. Of course, we got to have some cyberpunk type things. Um, this is the closest thing I could get to Holo sapiens. Holo sapiens are people who live as holograms. Um, it wouldn't let me do it in the concept art form, but I'm just power armor. Got to get some power armor. Um, Trying to get some knights here. This is an example of people known as genomancers. The genomancers have basically fractured genomes and DNA, and people, kick them to the bottom of the barrel. They're kind of like ghastly in their natural state. They can grow different types of limbs and things like that, and so yeah, there are people cursed that way. And then we got some mega cities, rich people, things like that. Um, some concepts. There's some more armor. Always with the oranges. Here's some images of the the docent, the Azori. These are literally plastic people that were created as a servitor individuals. They are artificial, but they are made of living tissue. That living tissue is like plastic, so it's an artificial living tissue. It is not neither human and it is not mechanical, but these are a servitor. I guess you'd call species or race, and and they they sit in this strange realm of, is it okay for humans to develop another race of people whose purpose? Oh, you can't see. Oh, oh, you don't. Okay, okay. No, it's okay. It's okay. You're fine. These individuals are like mentats. They are super brain, super science type of individuals. Their brains are so powerful that it literally is drawing the nutrients from the rest of their body. So they look a little bit, not a little bit, very skeletal. So they very powerful brains, very weaker bodies and such. Trying to concept art, heavy gravity people, tubers. These are feral individuals. Their DNA is spliced with different types of animals, many of them predatory, like tigers, snakes, things like that. Still going on. These are the Novus. These are individuals that live out in Uranus, Neptune, Charon, Pluto, Oort cloud. They have modified their genetic system to allow them to be extra solar beings. So larger craniums, eyes adapted to low light, um, that kind of thing. Trying to move real quick here. Drone port. Here's some cheesecake. Three arms. Um, oh, my brain's. I'm looking at my notes and I'm trying to do this, and I want to respond to you guys. There are individuals who are nomadic people. So being nomads on like Mars, Terra, some of the moons is a thing. Um, there are people who, what's their, I have it written down here. Not the Metallum, Genomancers, Neuroforge, nope. Cogs, Remos. Simeon. Anyway, there are people who use nanotechnology, and they're like monks. They are like wandering priests and things, and they use nanotechnology, von Neumann nanotechnology, as their form of magic and such. Here's some robots, individuals. Being bald and having locks and braided hair in space is a thing because in zero gravity, you don't really want to start cutting hair, so people just stop cutting it, or they just have it cut off completely, just completely bald. So it's just easier because hair can get into a lot of different things in zero gravity. Um, oh, what's the name? The Dro, the the they're basically androgynous, which is a derogatory term, but they can't get away from it. Of course, a bunch of other cyborgs and robots, very common thing. The Kresh, these are, uh, you can see the little AI artifacts down in there where you can see some of the faces aren't quite right. But the Kresh are clonal individuals. They're like clone families of sorts. And they have they aren't hive minded, but they have a collectivism in terms of how they operate their society in different places. Very brilliant, very much like envoys. They aren't kings and queens, but they are king and queen makers, and a little bit odd because despite little differences, many of them can fit. You know, it's very easy to mistake one for another, and they kind of use that to their advantage, so that different members of their society can fit in where they can get in, as if unfortunately, say one person dies or they leave or they're arrested, someone else can just step in and no one bats an eye, even though you don't know who they are, because they are clones and such. There's another Najee. the Simeon. These are people who have spliced it. Here, you see the fingers artifacts. They are like humans with the splicing of marsupials or monkey-like individual animals spliced with humanity. But whatever the case may be, they are adapted to zero gravity. Here's some more, another image, a little bit more of a human face, but they still have like um, opposable thumbs on their feet. Uh, the AI system wouldn't make lunars. Lunars are the original people born on the moon before humanity spread out in our solar system. They're extremely tall, and that's the closest I could get. I'm going to be able to squeeze it out of the system, but anyway, that's some artwork. Let me stop sharing this out. Let me get back to what you guys have to say. I'm done with that. All right. Yeah, Drew, you were very right. Yeah, hair in zero G can be a hairy thing. Very Cerberus. That's the name of the dog, not Ceres. Cerberus. Drew says Ceres is a Roman goddess. Mm-mm-mm. I always get it confused too. Cerberus is what they used name wise for the food delivery company in the werewolves are a-holes universe. I never heard of that. Cerber for the Uber replacement too, if I recall. Oh, that's fun. Drew's like, Karen again? No, Charon. Charon. That cluster of people just looks like impressionism was used for it, like Starry Night. I bet it was. I bet it was stolen. Let me see if I could find it. If I could find it back again. Um, there it goes. And let me pop it back. There it is. Yeah, yeah. Basically, the art style where if you look at one component too closely, you can see something in it, but pulling back and it suddenly looks like what the artist wanted you to see. Yeah, exactly. The people from the moon would not just be Moonies. No, because the moon, it's a funny social thing, right? So there are dozens, if not hundreds, of moons that exist in our solar system. What's the difference between Earth's moon and other moons? Well, it has a name, and that moon is called Luna. So the people there don't like being called Moonies or Moony kids or Moon kids or the moon. They come from Luna. They are Lunarians. They are Lunars. Lunaar. They are Lunars. Um, they are from Luna. They are not moon kids because they'll make the argument, well, every other planet's got moons around it. Why aren't they called moonies? It's a dumb thing that they take pretty seriously because we as human beings take dumb things pretty seriously too. So I thought I would incorporate that into the system. So yeah, that's it. So I thought I'd share some of these some imagery that I have that's it's the imagery is fueling my creativity, and then my creativity and making the prompts that I'm putting into the AI thing to see what spits out of it and going like, yeah. Ha, yes, exactly. Thank you, dead man. Yeah, lunatics for an insulting version. Exactly, right? Oh, you want to be that way? You want to get an attitude? What's I'm pulling from the people that get upset because of using the improper word, even though we understand what they mean, and things like that. That's basically what I'm pulling from. Drudenfuss just says Luna also just means moon. It does. The proper term for moons would be natural satellites. Exactly, and even like listening. If you guys listen to like um, science shows, that even in the science community, they now realize they need to come up with new terminology because we have moons of planets larger than other planets. We have moons with atmospheres. We have planets that are being demoted because of what is the definition of a planet and a satellite and an orbit and so they're trying to come up with new terminologies for these things. So some things don't fit any longer even though they are arose by any other name, right? You can call it what you want. It still exists, but what is its true definition? Sometimes the definition starts to get a little fuzzy. So it says, know your various ticks, like the deer tick or insert person you want to insult lunatic. Yeah. It's so silly. It's so funny. Doom doom. Never air that. You're so silly. TA. So anyway, we come to the end. Thank you very much for spending your valuable time here. I really appreciate it. Your time is so valuable that I hope you're able to leave here with a little bit of change. So guys, thank you so much for being part of the show. I don't want to hold you. It's Friday. You guys have things to do and want to be other places. So thank you very much for spending at least a little bit of time here. TA says, I think they have a defining trait of a moon where the natural satellite has taken on a spherical body shape. Right. So moons that aren't spherical but still orbit, what are they called? Natural satellites? Are they asteroids? And then we know that astrologically, some things that seem very far away will get pulled into certain orbits. So they might go from a comet to a meteor to an asteroid to a moon over a extended period of time and such, and things like that. Like our own solar system is orbiting something. So what do we consider a solar system? I love it. I love the idea of contemplating those things, but whatever. So anyway, guys, thank you very much for being part of the show. I really appreciate it. You guys. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut everybody off. Thank you so much for being part of the show. My finger tapped a little too quickly. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much for being part of this Friday. We'll get back into our day of series a little more intricately as well. We do have the upper planes, but after that, we'll get back into the very day of series as well for the show Monday through Friday. Thank you again for anyone who loves Future Fridays for being here as well. We do have a playlist of those. I think nearly 100 of them, so you can take a look at those as well. Anyway, guys, have a great weekend. See you later. Peace.